Hello and welcome back to my playthrough of Final Fantasy XV. And the first thing that we're going to be doing here is starting Chapter 6. So Chapter 6, A Way Forward. Beneath the Cape Kayam Light in the south of Clane lies an underground harbour. It has long served the Lucian royalty, and even now a vessel once owned by King Regis lies at anchor there. Following in his father's footsteps, Noctis heads for the ship. So, we've hit Chapter 6, which is really good. It means that things open up a little bit to us, but not really, if I'm honest. And the reason for that is we're going to get dragged about in terms of taken about with main story quests. A fair amount, and we're not going to be able to control where we drive particularly well at all. So, as far as I'm aware, you can do a fair amount of flexibility in terms of renting out chocobos and crossing the world on birdback. But the problem is that, you know, most players would probably already be thinking, it's been we've been doing this for a while, especially from the last chapter, where you don't have access to the regalia. And so even more now, even a longer chapter, more time on the chocobos is not ideal.
I can't let her go it alone after everything that went down. It'll be a squeeze in the car, but just for a while.
Shall we then?
Yeah, I don't want to keep Sid and Cindy waiting. They're fixing up the boat as we speak.
We ought to thank them.
Actually, Jared's the one we ought to thank.
Yeah. He really thought of everything.
So, there we have it. As a recap for people who may have missed the end of the last episode, but also we haven't really debriefed a lot from that. Obviously, whilst Noctis and everyone were fending off the Archean at the Disc of Corthus, and then were hunting all around the sky, chasing after their car, chasing after the regalia, the Empire came to visit the Ville in Lestolum, where they knew that they had stayed, and in the resulting sort of confrontation, Talbot's grandfather, I believe, Jared, died, unfortunately, in the midst of Iris, in the midst of Talcott, before they could actually flee all the way down to Kayam, which is all the way down here at the southern end of Lucis. So a real, a proper tragedy, and sort of there to really G you up for what we're going to be doing next, which is taking on another. We're going to take on another Imperial stronghold as the first part of this particular mission. But as I say, we do not have control of the car. The car is auto-driven, and we'll have some spots where we'll be able to choose as to whether we get out and we discuss things there.
You dream of High Commander Fleuret departed Lestolum this morning, having completed his tour of the Lucian continent. Occupation forces will nevertheless remain in Lucis, defending Imperial garrisons. The Imperial Army pledges to ensure the safety of Lucian citizens via strict regulation of interregional travel.
So, we have some more things there, especially about Ravus, who we met at the end of the last episode, and we saw his strength in the sense that he was able to overpower Gladio with relative ease, it must be said. Ravus is obviously Luna Freya's brother, and he obviously knows what she's doing, is highly aware of her role and Noctis's role within the whole story. And in a lot of ways, he's looking at what she's doing and thinking, he's worried for her, especially for her health. He knows the stress, the danger of her engaging with the gods, engaging with the Hexatheon, and doing that is only going to doing it more and more is only going to put her more and more at risk. And he obviously doesn't want that to be the case. He wants to protect his sister, and is worried, especially then, to then say, well, can Noctis really do what the legend foretells? Is he truly the man of legend that everyone needs him to be, if according to that legend, in order to help him through.
Good news for all you Sky locals depressed by these downpours. They're done. Mr. Golden Sun is back in town, now that the atmospheric anomaly has abated. And if my previous theory about the rain holds any water, that means our friend the Thunder God is probably taking a nap. We've endured earthquakes and storms. What could be next? If you ask this supernatural speculator, the flood.
So obviously referencing the gods there, we've had earthquakes from Titan, we've had thunderstorms from Rama, and it is fitting because our the next god that we will be visiting will be Leviathan.
Meldacio Hunter, the High Commander, insisted that the late King Regis gifted him with the glaive as a gesture of goodwill before the signing, denying claims it was taken as a spoil of war afterward, with armistice talks tabled indefinitely. Suspicions of the High Commander run high, many alleging he pilfered the blade after the king was slain. But official media deems this version of events to be false.
Well, the Nifs weren't exactly going to be like, yes, Ravus clearly, he stole everything. They're going to try and protect their man. But that is more of that, If you watch the Kingslave movie, you hear more about you realise why, for example, Ravus is injured, why he has that Magitech arm on him. And it's because he tried to wear the Ring of the Lucia, he tried to take that power, and because he is not worthy, because he is not a member of the family, and because he is not Noctis, the chosen one, he was punished for it.
A new development has surfaced in the story of the raid on Arakiel Stronghold. The army has reportedly seized 4 male suspects in Lestalem and transferred them to the Empire for further questioning. Pressed about rumors of the reportedly deceased Lucian Crown Prince's involvement in the attack, an Imperial spokesperson passed them off as absurd. You dream of
some more
the Imperial
stuff there.
blockades of Discayan roadways have been removed. The Imperial Army has also demolished all related facilities erected around the region. The Provisional Government of Insomnia anticipates increased traffic congestion along most local highways and encourages all...
We've seen that.
You dream of... Come on, kid!
So you mean the High Commander's left arm is completely artificial?
Yes, that's what prosthetic means. I assume he had it made while undergoing treatment back in the Empire. It seems they imbued the arm with Magitech, the same technology they used to power their entire nation. Technology they appropriated from an ancient civilization. The point is that the arm's not just for show. It packs a pretty punch. Pardon the pun.
So, more things there about Ravus and his prosthetic.
It's your vacation.
We are... Breaking news from Accordo. First Secretary Camelia Claustra spoke at a press conference earlier, announcing that Lady Luna Freya is currently in the custody of Altician officials.
I can confirm we have Lady Luna Freya in our care. The people of Accordo, saddened by the rumors of the Oracle's passing, can breathe a collective sigh of relief. Though she is weary from her trials, I am happy to report she is well.
Citing safety concerns during the Lucian peace talks, Secretary Claustra stressed the need for pragmatism in negotiating the Oracle's repatriation.
Okay, so some really important news there. It's amazing how much of this stuff is on here.
I'm rather unfamiliar with the Hydraean, outside of what I've read about her in the Cosmogony.
Well, that's something we have in common. She's been asleep for years. No one alive has ever seen her. But, given the Archean's awakening, it's not beyond reason that the sea goddess could follow suit. And if she does, oh, look out. The legends tell of a wrathful spirit with no love for mankind.
Altisha could be in for a disaster, on the order of what we saw at the disc.
You dream...
Meldacio, we are...
It's your...
We are...
Okay, so some really big information there. One, Luna is safe. Obviously, really important for them to know that she is in Altisha, as obviously as she intended to do so. Her aim of going to Altisha and in order to settle that up has happened. And also we get some more, little tidbits of information about the current thing. It's amazing that they sort of hide all of that away behind those radios, because I'm sure, well, you just need to watch other playthroughs. I'm bound to be the case that majority of people won't listen to them. It's hard enough to actually just listen to the radio in the car, almost. Anyway, so here we are. We're going to be travelling with Iris in this chapter, which means we actually have an extra party member. We'll have a 5th party member. And for that reason, we're going to try and do a fair amount, because I think it would be good fun to sort of have those extra interactions, those extra character moments with the group, given that there's now 5.
Ready to roll?
So, as they say, we'll be unable to return for some time. That means we're returning to Lastolum in particular.
Let's get this show on the road. Morning. Who's ready to kick some ass?
So we start making our slow way south, but as I said, there is going to be...
Looking at the regalia really reminds me of home.
It sure doesn't look like any of the cars you see around here.
And it's a lot roomier, too. I can't imagine trying to cram 5 people, including Gladdy, into one of those things. Have you ever ridden in one?
Can't say we have.
There was barely enough room for our luggage. Thank goodness you guys could give me a lift.
Think the others made it to Kayam all right?
I suppose we'll find out when we get there.
So the Great Chasm caused during the war,
Whoa,
the
check
old
it
war.
out. See that? That's the Rock of Ravito. I'm like 90% sure.
Not 100.
You almost know your stuff.
All thanks to Jared.
So the Rock of Ravito being a volcano up over that way. If I could show the navigator, I would show it's sort of west-ish area of Claim.
Thank you for driving, Ignis.
Pleasure.
Are you the only one that drives?
I can drive.
And so can I. It's not like Iggy's the only one who can drive. He's just the only one we can trust.
Wow, are they that bad?
Not bad at all, right? Right. But there's no way the big guy's taking any chances with his little sister in the car.
So some slightly more intense music.
Sure you don't need a break?
I'm okay.
You are sandwiched in back there. Have Prompto suffer instead.
Really, it's fine. No suffering here.
If you say so.
As we pass by Tolan's stronghold. We're now sort of heading... I don't think we've ever been down this road in particular as we make our way south towards... sort of in the vicinity of Old
Got some good
Lastolum.
news, guys.
Oh, great. Another floating fortress.
Let's pull over.
Knocked.
Relax. We've got this.
So, just as the rain comes in, we also see Fort Valerie is going to be our new target.
Taking matters into hand.
Delivering justice for Jared. And for Talcott, too.
Iris, I'll need you to wait here.
All right.
I'm sure she's just peachy about that. Okay, so...
Careful, Noct. Only fools rush in. I suggest we review our intelligence and devise a plan.
So, as you can imagine, we're not just going to steam straight in. We're going to do very similar to what we've done previously.
It's always a pleasure.
There we go.
Need anything else? Thank you very much.
So just...
Welcome to old Lestalem. You must be tired from the trek. Take it easy now. Kenny approves.
Okay, I don't know where that's in Malmalam Thicket, which I think we will be exploring, hopefully, in this episode, if all goes to plan. So, we will also want to rent some chocobos, I think. Just for a day. The main thing, we don't have too much flexibility at the moment, so we're probably just going to steam ahead with the main story for now.
Oh, you couldn't have come at a better time. Here's your next assignment. Make sure you hand it in like a good student.
So, Sanya's next quest requires us to look at a Gigantoad. And we most certainly have already slain a Gigantoad, which means that we can hand this directly straight in.
Back so soon? You're getting quicker at this. Good. Science waits for no man.
So if we hadn't have already had a Gigantoad, then you'd have found that, I think, again in Malmalam. So sort of...
Oh, come to observe fauna, have you?
So, you know, again in a similar area to where we've been looking. Okay, so... with that in mind... we should just be able to make our way back. There is a book, an Oryx Culinary Chronicle there. I don't know whether we've read that one. Have we? I think we have. Yep. We know because obviously we would have got a recipe if we had. So we've got our green chocobos for a little while longer.
No plot of land unconquered.
Those aren't conquering numbers.
Likely building a supply line it would behoove us to cut.
Behoove. What a ridiculous word.
Oh, looks the same as before.
Looks can be deceiving.
We beat them once. They won't make it easy this time.
And neither will we.
You think Iris is doing all right?
She is all alone.
She's a big girl. She'll be fine.
So you can see some Imperial armaments around.
Bring 'em on backstreet brawler, is she?
She's tough, but I'd feel better if we got this over with and got back on the road.
So let's just make sure that we have the right quest on, otherwise this could go poorly. We will be exploring, hopefully we'll be exploring this area later, but we will want to do that with Iris in tow.
Imperials above us! Thanks.
I mean, we are circling an Imperial fort, that is not surprising. So, anything of
Encounters with the
interest?
Chancellor seem more than mere chance.
See that guy everywhere. I've seen enough of him. Thanks for the ride.
Imperial Medal of Honor.
Easy now.
Again, largely, I think that would just be a crafting material.
Knocked. Overhead.
Okay. Just a couple 100 feet now. So yeah, pretty much done a full circle of the fort. Just as it so happens.
Starving.
Are we there yet?
We'll meet again.
Sorry, I don't think we can take you any further. So, the main aim here is to avoid the majority of the soldiers. Although I think we are stuck on this side of the fence. But if we avoid those mechs over there, we should then just be able to yeah, I don't think Gladiator is going to have much luck on that side. Okay, so as we climb,
Hey, where'd you learn that one, Knock?
None the worse for wear.
anything of interest in here? Doesn't look like it. So, if we make the slow climb up,
So, what's our plan?
Find the base commander and take him into custody. Targeting metal men will yield little in the way of reconnaissance, but bones bend easily. We'll split into two groups of two. Prompto and Gladio will generate a diversion.
Oh yeah, making scenes what I do best.
Knocked? Are you prepared?
I see no reason why we're not.
Operation to catch a commander is go.
So here we have it. Fort Valery casts an imposing shadow over the Lucian countryside, making it an ideal target for Noctis and company, as they seek to avenge Jared's death. So, this little sequence primarily is there to reintroduce, in a lot of ways, a few members of the Niflheim the few key members of the Niflheim forces that we may well have sort of forgotten or left by the wayside a little bit. We've already dealt with one Niflheim commander. We dealt with Loki all the way back in Chapter 2. And now we're going to look at the other main commander, a man called Caligo Aldor. He was actually present in the cutscene that you have where all of the Niflheim commanders all sort of get together.
The insolence of that up-jumped mercenary. And there is still no word. This cannot be borne.
Such behavior besmirches his Radiance's good name.
That's our target. Let's follow him.
So we have
Seize him on my signal.
Kaligo here. Clearly, he's not a happy bunny at the moment. Unhappy at a mercenary, who's actually also a commodore of the Niflheim troops, who we will meet also in this little bit of a chapter. Indeed, it's kind of the point of this bit. In a lot of ways, is to introduce them.
What is that Chancellor playing at? I'm no man's fool. He sent Highwind to watch me.
So obviously, the Chancellor is Arden, and Kaligo is clearly not very happy with him at the moment. Don't know quite why we couldn't warp kill that guy straight away, but there we go.
It's no mere coincidence she and I meet wherever I go. Claims to trust her as a person. Hollow words from the mind behind the Magitech movement.
So we see that Arden trusts this Commodore. And also, interesting little piece of information there about how Arden was actually instrumental in building up the Magitech movement, in building up Niflheim's current strength, which is their Magitech army of Imperial sort of MT troopers. Okay, I think we should go here next.
Grubby hands on the prince before Caligo Aldor.
You always know they're a bad guy when they have a habit of saying their own name. So a few down there, we could try to warp kill them, but I don't really see any point. Indeed, I think it makes more sense for us to head over this side. Throughout this section, we are literally just waiting on Ignis's call, and there will be an obvious time as to when that makes the most sense. If you do get caught, it pretty much just returns you all the way back to the start of this little sequence, and there's no real punishment in that regard. So we could warp kill those dudes, but I see no reason why to. Felt like it's too risky.
I'll give Highwind one last chance to respond. Stand guard here. If the Commodore arrives, send her through.
So, obviously, Kaligo is now by himself. It's nice and isolated. So this is a location where, unlike the previous one, where obviously we could go in and explore and pick up all of the items, in this one I don't think there are any particularly useful items for us to find on this visit. We will want to return here at a later point, in which case we'll find some other items as well.
Now's your chance, Noct. Close him from behind. And remember, we need him alive. Don't worry. You're in fine form. Keep it up. Looks like they've set to work. I'll escort him off the base. We will group with the others.
And so the insanely loud music returns. So as I said, there's really no reason or no need for us to actually sort of explore too much here. So obviously we have an MA Veles, we've got some battery soldiers, some minor trouble for us at the moment. I was 100% blocking that. Take care of the sniper first. So we take care of our mech, and we'll continue to head over here where we'll fight another mech, this time with Gladio and Prompto. So I reckon if we use some Armor Gun Madness, that should... I was trying to use an Armor Chain there, but I didn't want to. Maybe because we don't have Ignis, maybe it only works if you've got everyone in. Either way.
You ready to blow this place sky high?
So, let us sabotage the Magitech generator. There we go.
Glad to see you lot were successful.
Does that mean you weren't?
I placed our captive into the hunter's custody, but I've just been informed he's fled. He lives to die another day.
And I'll gladly help him with that.
So, like I said, kind of just a thing to introduce you. It's worth noting that there is a whole bunch of information on this. You can, so for example, if we go to the archives and go to the dossiers, and we go to Niflheim, well, we've met Ravus. We've spoken about Aranea, but we haven't actually met her yet. We've obviously seen Caligo, and we've also heard about Loki. And then we've got Ardyn down the bottom. So, kind of spoiled it a little because we're just about to meet the Dragoon herself.
Hey, pretty boy. Let's see what you can do.
So, Aranea. This should be a pretty fun battle. Don't be silly. So just some idea of the power that Aranea has. So we get an idea of her strength, the fact that she's willing to just take us all on at once, but at the same time, we can definitely start whittling down her health affair pretty quickly. Ooh, we've got some extra soldiers. Let's just take care of these guys. Okay, it shouldn't be too much longer to take down Aranea. There we go.
Is it that time already?
What time?
Quitting time. Sorry, but this girl doesn't work after hours. I could, but there wouldn't be a single gill in it for me. We should play again sometime, pretty boy.
Who the hell was she?
Come on, we've just been explained all of that by Caligo.
Worried about Iris.
I imagine she's fine.
But we shouldn't keep her waiting.
So, there we have it. Our little dalliance with the delightful Aranea. We get, get a feeling for who she is and her demeanour, certainly. She gets a lot more involved in the next, as the story goes on. We'll see her turn up in a few places between now and the end of the game as well. So that's definitely primarily meant more than anything, given that Caligo certainly is not a particularly major character.
Did you kick their asses?
Oh yeah, all in a day's work.
Hey, mind if I hang in your guys' room for a bit?
But she's definitely the star of that little sequence. So we have a whole bunch of experience and a whole bunch of AP. Actually, I had not realised how much AP we have, but that's good to know.
Oh, hey, it's me.
Not a bad shot, if I do say so myself.
Not bad. It's great. You could be a professional cameraman.
She's just wistfully looking upwards.
Well taken.
Isn't this Gentiana?
Yeah, she was here, huh?
She was?
The photo would suggest so.
I guess. Memory must be playing tricks.
So, there are trophies associated with... I think there is one trophy for having Gentiana sort of drop into... Iris with her eyes closed. Yeah, there is a trophy for having Gentiana sort of photobomb one of your shots. It just happens naturally as soon as you've met her in the last chapter, then that can happen at random. So, we are here in Old Lestollen, and just so you know, the hard cut there is because I unfortunately lost a bunch of information. I lost about 50 minutes worth of recording. A bit of a pain, but there we go. Nothing we can do about it. We move on and we try our best to just sort this out. So, what we have is, well, the main idea is that we want to jump in the car and head down to Kayam. Kayam's all the way down here, so we'll follow this nice long road. There are a couple of things that you would do along the way. You could stop off at Malmalam Thicket, which is one of a couple of dungeons. And also you can stop down on the Velarity Seaside, which has far less of a gameplay reason to do that, but it's pretty, and there's also a haven down there, which I think you can do a tour for. So those are the main things that we have at the moment. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna rent out some chocobos, and we're gonna go for a nice long chocobo ride.
Whoever they were, I want to buy them all a drink.
You can't be serious. That kind of caper only makes things worse for all of us.
So, as I say, we're going to rent out a bunch of chocobos. I believe Iris, well, I know, because again, I've recorded this a little bit before. Iris gets her own chocobo, and she'll be travelling with us. And the main reason I want to do this is because I think it's a good idea.
These birds are freaking adorable.
Is for us to have the chance to just do a bit of exploring with Iris with us. So what we're going to do first of all, we'll be heading down here. I found a piece of the Sylvester's map down there. But first of all, we have a few quests that we can do around this area. The first of which is... so we've got a couple of hunts. And we also have Tails Spin, which was a quest from one of the vendors in Lastolum. Now, I had hoped that we could even potentially try and take Iris further away, but as you can see from the map, there are blockades set, and these aren't even story blockade, like actual, Niflheim blockade. These are just blockades put there to stop, just say that you can't take Iris beyond this point, which is a little lazy, but given that they're talking about how the Nifs are sort of removing all the blockades, it would be a little weird if then there was also just like, but over here there's still a big one. So yeah, so the main reason, so what we're going to do is we're going to mess around. We have Iris in our team, which means that we get access to all the things that she can do. She essentially usually just acts as a little mini healer, so she'll just, she's happy to just drop in. She's happy to jump in battle. She generally will just heal you up, so she will use some restoratives to help you. I don't know if they are your restoratives or whether they are like ones that she just conjures. But either way, so she's useful in that sense. But she'll also she also has her own things that she can do in battle as well. Namely, she has her own technique, which is called Eclipse, and is very powerful. A little team-up move with Gladio. An MA-Hoplomachus. I have never seen one of these before. That's cool. So I imagine that because we are in the neighborhood of the need to be careful. It seems to be turning to the storm of the sorry, the sword there. So we could summon, but I mean this is a battle that we're definitely going to win. Obviously those, the summons can be very useful.
Yeah, you look cool doing it too.
Yeah, we get that a lot.
Don't take it to heart.
So, we pick up an Earth Gemstone, no, it's a Sky Gemstone. I always mix those two up. Sky Gemstone we need for Sid. So yeah, so this little area in the neighbourhood of Fort Valerie, we're going to see a lot of a lot of little battles with both wildlife and also with the MTs. They love to drop in battles in this area. whilst, as you can see, there are a bunch of Havoc Fangs and various other enemies around here as well. Now what we're looking for are some Spiracorns that we can see just yonder, I think. Oh no, we've actually overcooked it. So,
enemy on your left. Got it.
What we'll do is bring up a Chocobo.
Let's go.
This will be a lot faster. Allow us to zip through the danger areas with these Havoc Fangs a lot easier. As we find Dainty Haven, we will definitely pick up some elemental stuff from there. But pretty much we just want to avoid the Havoc Fang battles. They can be similar to the Vortooth and Spiracorn sorry, not Spiracorn, but the Saber Tusk battles that we've had plenty of times before, in that the enemies can sometimes feel like they're sort of duplicating, that they just keep coming. Anyway, so this battle can be an absolute pain for camera, because the camera loves to get stuck in the bushes and pretty much just give you absolutely no sight at all. So that's just something to bear in mind.
You all right?
Yeah, no worries.
So, given that these guys are weak to fire, would that be a problem if no one was taking pictures? So we've seen sort of different variations on Iris's Eclipse. It specifically works very nicely against the MTs. So against the NIF soldiers. But for these guys, I think we will use Gladio in particular. Come on. I was definitely holding square. Okay, so there we go. Lovely.
Thanks.
Attaboys.
So we take care of the Spiracorns.
Everything okay with you?
Nothing to worry about with you guys around.
And we'll just make a hasty retreat from the NIFs.
Easy now.
Seeing as we've already dealt with the Hoplomachus, so I mean, what more else could they throw at us that could be scary? So, we have a few more things on this side of the road.
Going on ahead.
Thanks for the ride.
And we have some more Spiracorns.
Any plan of attack?
So I just want to check something in terms of... So there you go. Set up a single enemy for the kill with Big Brother's help. Only going up 3%, so I think it's clear that that's going to take a while. What we want to do is buy that. It's a bit weird doing this in the middle of the battle, but we'll buy that one. We'll buy that one. We'll get that one. And I want that one. And then the other thing is I want that off Tempest. Let's go back to Broad Dawnhammer. Prompt token. Go to Piercer for now, which is very good. Yeah, so we have seen now, we're seeing both Iris's Link Strikes, where she uses that, her large Moogle. They really want me to summon today. There we go.
Victory! A victory indeed when we're all safe.
Come on. Have a bit more fun than that.
Let's go.
So yeah, we've seen both versions of Iris's attacks, where one is just a slam based sort of with Gladio, and then also you have her unique and very powerful sort of one-hit kill on the MTs, which is pretty cool. So what we're now going to do is head north and pick up those elemental deposits. Given that we've just boosted our power via Elemency, we should be able to get, via Ascension, we should be able to get a pretty powerful spell. But we don't have any money. Sorry, we don't have any space. But that's okay, we'll probably be coming back down this way.
I'm having the time of my life out here on the road with you guys.
Well, there you go.
It's too bad things can't stay this way forever, you know? But hey, enjoy it while it lasts, right?
So if we head north, we should meet where we need to be for the quest regarding
Thanks for the ride.
The proprietor, the gunsmith, so the weapon maker in Lastolum. It's worth noting, so you can't swim with your chocobos across this river. They'll just stop. I don't know whether that's this chapter sort of limited thing or whether that's a general thing. Blimey, it is only 2, and yet we are already low on, like, it is saying that evening in game, which is quite surprising.
Rush 'em! Count on it. You like that? Solid.
Okay, so the shield shears are weak to ice and guns and spears. So you can see Iris has such little health compared to everyone else. That is quite surprising. You're like, with that much health, just stay out. You are not going to be okay. If one of these very large crabs decides to take a swipe at you. Oh, that's a
Nice
pity.
work, everyone.
Pious is always a fun one. Still, we better rush because I think... Oh no, all times. Okay, thank goodness. Like, you can definitely tell the days are 100% getting shorter if it's deeming it as sort of sundown at 3. Or even 2 as it was earlier there. So, our second hunt on this little peninsula is here, as we face off against some mighty shears. And again, being crab-type enemies, they are very similar to the shield shears that we saw. So what I think we'll do is swap to Prompto, seeing as they're weak to guns.
Seafood would make you happy, especially something this big. It's in size, but lost in flavor. That's what you're hung up about.
And that's the problem with Prompto, is that he is particularly frail. So weak point seems to be if you hit them from behind.
No mercy.
Nothing personal.
Just shed loads of damage. It's so fun.
Okay. What about you, Noct?
All good over here.
Trigger Happy just does so much damage. It's crazy. Okay, let's... So obviously, as night looks like it's about to fall, that means that we'll have to start making our way south. So, in using up those 2 spell slots, that should allow us to start making some very powerful magic, especially with the little boost that we got from the Ascension Tree. And then what we'll do is, rather than... because obviously it's starting to get late, and with it being late, that means that Ignis probably won't drive us. Probably won't drive us around. So what we should do is
We'll meet again.
Okay, so Element C. Let's make a really powerful fire spell. And I think I found that if you use laser sensors, they're like you can get some really crazy powerful magic. Stuff that we can definitely store away for a more pressing time. So we could stay at the Haven here, but I think we'll try and make more progress southwards. And then head, with the aim then being of essentially reaching Malmalam Thicket. And if we get there, then what we can do is there are some havens around there that we can stay at. There's one on the outskirts, and there's actually one inside Malmalam Thicket as well, which is quite cool. And given that I think we have a hunt inside Malmalam Thicket, which if I make that my quest, we may well want to enter at night.
Last thing I need now. Eyes peeled, mouth closed. Hey, get lost!
These sort of battles are where if you had like an ice brand or something, I mean if it's...
It's all you! Allow me.
That was a rather tiring endeavor.
So we've got a fair old while to cross on Choco back, but shouldn't be at all problematic for us to make the trip. And what we can actually do is stay up on the riverfront of the riverbank here. So something I do wish I had done is purchase the MP3 player. I thought it was from one of the shops, but I think it's actually, after doing a bit of research, I think it's actually from, you buy it from the car shop, so when driving the car. And the issue we have is during all of these sections, which are pretty scripted, because Ignis is driving and all this stuff, we don't really have a lot of control in that regards.
Let's move. Yeah.
The lack of control then meaning that, well, we can't change anything for a fair while. So it just means that these long rides on Chocobo, whilst I do love the Chocobo theme in this game, it is the same piece of music for what has been a lot of travelling at this point. And a change would just be welcome. So annoyingly, we've got trapped on one side of the...
Take better care of yourself.
I thought that's what you two were for.
So yeah, we got trapped on the wrong side of the road. So... we'll need to do a quick turnaround just to... find what we're looking for. So we're looking for just a stranded car.
Knocked. Overhead.
That one just there.
Thanks for the ride.
because inside
Nice
it
riding with you.
is our
Surprise! Another map scrap.
a map scrap.
He's
The map leads us to, as you can see, leads us into the glacial Greyshire Grotto, which is the second small thing that's we've now got leading there. So we may well want to make
this'll be quick.
a secondary call-in at some point.
How many times?
It's like we've got
Enough talk. Time for some action.
Spiracorns on one side and the MTs on another.
Wow, the color's amazing.
Okay. So what would normally happen is if we were in the car heading down towards Cayenne, so if we had just jumped in the car straight away from Old Lastolum, what would happen is we would get a little comment at this point about whether we would want to go down here and do some exploring. Obviously, given that we're doing this sort of already, doing it on Chocobo back, we don't get the same comment here, but I think we do get the same comment just a little further on.
Nice here.
Yeah.
So here we have the car park and car park for Malmalam Thicket, and we also have our haven just ahead, which we may well stay at. But another reason why we want to get off at this haven is because there is an Oryx Culinary Chronicle here. Another fella left the outpost today. Can't blame him with all the demons roaming around. Feels pretty lonely though. I've been fishing down by the reservoir when I get the chance, but there's nothing to catch but carp. Makes a man miss the taste of that Weneth salmon. HQ said I could leave my post whenever I'd like, but ain't much point in leaving now. Far as I'm concerned, this is home, for better or worse. And we get ourselves Salmon-in-a-Suit as a recipe. So, we'll probably pick up the energy deposits from there at another time. But what we have to do is make some progress. So, that is the start of the Terror Battle crossover side quests, which I've never done. We might do that on the way out. It doesn't have a level suggestion on the quest page, which does make me slightly, well, at least I'm interested, intrigued, let's put it that way. There's a nice item up here.
Ready for this?
And looks like we are not allowed to have it.
Capital idea. You ready? Let's go, fellas. Oh yeah. Ready. Hooked up. Oh, hi there, opening.
Iris, you okay?
Hey, okay. What about you, Noct?
All good over here.
So we just about get through that. With the knowledge that our hunt is further up the slopes. This is actually...
Easy now.
I always forget how windy the entrance to Malmalam Thicket is. Like, you can see it still winds up another couple of turns as we keep going up the slope. So just bear that in mind. In the days, these slopes are covered in Spiracorns. So you'll probably get into battles with those if you want. And obviously at night, as ever, we instead get demons.
Thanks for the ride.
What does this note say? No hunters allowed. I wonder where the data entry is going to be for Malmalam Thicket. Anything
Nice
different
riding with
there?
you.
No, still just no hunters allowed. Because obviously there's a new Datalog entry for every single dungeon and all that stuff, so it'd be interesting to know where they are.
Is it me or is this place begging to be explored? Never been one to turn down an invitation.
If what they say about the Malmalam Thicket is true,
then we might just find what we're looking for here.
So that's the line that comes should you drive by this place. And indeed, it is another one of these, of our dungeons.
Step lightly in here.
There's no telling what'll crawl out of the woodwork.
I'll have these guys wiped out before you know it.
Is that so? All right, prove it.
Say your prayers.
So I'll have you know that that is a different battle
We're all safe.
to what you see otherwise. So maybe the denizens of the Malmalam Thicket change depending on whether you go at night or day.
Squish some slimy bug and ruin nice kicks.
I did not. Just because of the time, I should grab the hunt first. Where is it?
Let's go.
Oh, just down here. Okay.
Thanks, buddy.
Okay, so we have some flan type enemies. We've seen a few of these types already. We have a new one here, the Gelatin. As you can see, weak to lightning, but absorbs literally everything else. And resistant to all attacks, to all weaponry. Level 35, so not to be scoffed at. For that reason, we will equip our there we go.
Nothing to it.
You were great knocked.
Damn straight. Killed them in one hit. Easy peasy. Nothing to worry about. Come on. There we go. All of that talking, we got to be worried about it. We've just got to make sure. You don't know what it's going to be like, but you use the right type of magic and boff. Okay, back into the dungeon we go. So, as with all dungeons in the game, it has its own separate set of sort of like individual responses to the various goings-on inside. Yep, there are new enemies in here depending on whether you go in at night or day, which is interesting, because these ones are a lot lower level. depending on how long we're in here, we might be able to showcase both. Because we wouldn't normally walk back through a dungeon. We could do it here.
Indeed, when we're all safe.
It's not a particularly long one. So we pick up a Thunderbolt, which is a much better Blade of Brenier, as you can see, 345 and electricity. So a very useful weapon just to find in a dungeon.
Found anything rare or exotic yet? Slow down. You just not here.
You know, if rare treasures were easy to find, they wouldn't be rare.
We'll see about that.
To convince that he can.
Prince of Pain.
Yep.
So yeah, the members of this dungeon are usually harder than this, which is interesting. So, because it's the Malmalam Thicket, this allows us to pick up some
That's it.
Malmushrooms.
I've come up with a new recipe.
I could taste test for you.
Giving us yet another recipe for Ignis.
That a brook I hear babbling?
A regular river, I'd say.
Oh, think we have time to cast a line? Sorry, bud. Need you to reel yourself in this time around. Time to book.
You're on fire today.
What can I say?
So on the night, you can come here and face off against enemies at level 13, level 14. And in the day, you can face off against some enemies which reach up to like level 37, so that's pretty crazy. We'll keep. I was gonna swap.
My hand slipped.
That looks like the crabs are not happy with the local demons.
Hey, I know those rooms.
It's a sign. We should set up camp.
Say your prayers.
Fortune teller now? You can rest off or move on. It's your choice.
Oh, hi there, opening.
Lovely.
Don't think we can go any further down without winding up at the bottom.
Time to start moving upstream.
Oh man, my underwear's soaked.
I really hope that's from the river.
Way down a wee bit.
Oh, Ignis. I love that line. That's just pitch perfect. Anyway, so we arrive at a pretty rare, or at least a pretty uncommon haven. And I think that we will stay here because one, we can get the food buff, and two, it'll allow me to show you what enemies we find around here in the day. So we're going to camp.
Better start preparing for supper.
Oh, let me help.
So Celebrum Haven. Do 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 do. So I think we'll go for a don't need anything too massive in terms of attack boost, I think. Could go for a breaded cutlet with tomato. Do 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 do. So, our AP is back being very high. Recent battle is a pretty cool photo there.
Neat.
That's us taking down the Hoplomachus.
Perfect timing.
That is pretty much perfect timing. I really like that one.
Wow.
I do love the fact that they just sit around and look at their photos.
Gentiana again.
What? When was she here?
She wasn't. This time, I'm sure of it.
And the plot thickens.
Then we have Iris on her bright red chocobo.
They're cute. In an ugly sort of way.
Hopefully we can get a better one of her on her bright red chocobo. I think that would be worth keeping. Okay, so after a nice rest here, we'll be able to make our way.
The current doesn't carry you away.
I'm not sure my footwear is up to this. Ugh.
Don't let yourself get pulled in.
So, what we should find up here. Now, these are the enemies that we are looking for. So, we've got Mandrakes, Shield Shears, and Soldier Wasps, which have been the main sort of the three sets of enemies that we generally find in this dungeon at least. Is that shocking the water? Because if it is, that would be a really nice touch. I think it is.
Victory!
That was nice. I like that.
We're all safe.
I like that a lot. The little sort of. Okay. Let's create a big lightning spell then. And we'll use melee fire. 73, which means I've got 26 spare, I think. Or 25. That'll take me to 98. Okay, and then let's go to those sweet, sweet laser sensors. So we now have a very strong fire spell and a very strong ice spell in our back pocket. Some things that will be definitely worth when we start hitting some of the big end sort of chapter sort of ones. So we pick up a pair of Delta Daggers. Interesting. Let's have a look. 153 increases magic and just pretty much better in every way than the Assassin's ones, except for the fact that they don't inflict poison. So let's do it. Cool. Okay, excellent. I think at this point, it would be absolutely fine to start thinking about changing some of our outfits. You can see there's plenty of different ones. If we go no jacket, that just pretty much buffs my offensive ones. Same thing for Gladio. Let's just go no jacket for a while. See how much of a difference it makes in combat. It might make very little. It might make a large amount.
Cold, cold. Freezing cold.
You want to stand under that waterfall and let it toughen you up a little.
I don't think that would be good for my camera. Or me. Just keeps going on from here.
Then we keep going too.
This place is cozy?
Well, I wouldn't get too comfy if I were you.
Right. Not out of the woods yet.
So, there is our final battle at the end of this dungeon.
Man, am I glad to be out of there.
Don't speak too...
Not so glad anymore. Not surprised either.
It's what we came for.
Let's have it. Stay alert.
So, a level 38 Bandersnatch is our final opponent. You can actually face one of these right outside Hammerhead if you go the wrong direction. But there's actually a common... It's a way that you can actually very quickly earn experience by casting some big experience boosting magic, and then also just slaying this guy when you're level 1 and he's level 38. So Dawnhammer should be really effective here, given that Gladio now has the Thunderbolt, and he's weak to lightning. Beyond that, I think we should be fine, given that we also have Armiger awaiting.
Sorry to break this up.
Excellent. Nice break on the front for a monster jaw. And we also get a monster claw. Works pretty much perfectly. Really nice. So, what's our reward for completing the Malmalam Thicket dungeon? Well, you get...
Sounds like someone's in a good mood.
Basking in our hard-fought victory, I presume.
We get a nice view with the Rock of Ravato in the distance.
What's your problem?
How about you cut it out before someone gets hurt?
But beyond that, we also have the main prize,
You might want to see
a royal tomb.
It's all about that treasure.
And what do we find inside? That'll be one royal arm coming right up.
Feels good to get it done.
Yeah, almost makes up for the soaked socks and bug bites.
So we pick up the Sceptre of the Pious here in Malmalam Thicket. And interestingly enough, it looks like that this dungeon might not have an extra bit, unlike the others. Because I do not see another pathway to a hidden door that cannot be opened at the moment. Though I might be wrong, and it may well be around. Either way, we are done here, so we'll make our way out of Malmalam Thicket. We should just be able to, if we go to the map, yeah, we can return to entrance like that.
That's better.
So, on top of everything that you get from there...
1 minute it's pouring, the next it's over.
Sudden weather changes. Think we'll see a rainbow?
So, we need to call the Chocobo. So, that is Malmalam Thicket. Nicely done and dusted. Feel like we need to squad up with our Chocobos. So the big question is, where will the little information thing about Malmalam Thicket be? And is there any more to be found? What's over this way, for example? A house, and a person,
Thanks for the ride.
And a shop.
Aw, thanks, buddy.
Interesting. Let's have a chat.
A perilous path you walk, potent potions you need.
So, we can buy ourselves some healing items. Alongside even some of the rarer ones, these EX, VX, ZX, WX ones. We do need a bunch of potions, though.
My thanks.
And we'll also get some antidotes. Primarily because they're also, you know, they are quest items as well. So we might as well grab them.
Take care out there, you will.
Okay, so... Still, this feels like an area where they could put the... Aha! Is that the one we want? Malmalam Thicket. Densely grown jungle, feared by many as the alleged home of the Witch of the Woods. Hunters hoping to venture inside and verify the claims for themselves have been met with resistance from the higher-ups at Meldasio HQ, who forbid any of their employees to enter the forest. Researchers, however, are free to explore the forest as they please, and many have written extensively about the flora and fauna found therein. The thicket is rich with rare ingredients like the malmushroom, and other plants used in herbal medicine. The abundance of elemental mineral deposits also seems to suggest an environment ideally suited for magical synthesis, a strong reason behind the aforementioned rumours. Others have reported sightings of an enormous unidentified beast dwelling in the heart of the grove, but such assertions have been dismissed as mere hallucinations caused by the toxic spores floating throughout the forest. Nevertheless, those with a penchant for the fantastic insist the monster is real, spreading word about the witch's pet to all who will listen. Interesting.
Gas stations are the same wherever you go.
That one looks more like the gas station that time forgot.
Look a tad out of place in the Crown City.
Gotta love that smell, though, right?
That is definitely not a gas station,
buddy.
guys. I don't know why you said that, but there we go. So, a meeting with Kimya. You can't take a picture on Chocobo back, which is disappointing. Right, everyone's squadded up. Everyone with their beautiful chocobos. I couldn't resist. Would have been a nice chance to actually have had everyone have different coloured chocobos just for the full rainbow effect, but especially if there was actually a rainbow in the sky as well. But no worries. Missed opportunities maybe, but there will be others. So you can see how far up you have to climb just to reach here, given that that down there is the path. You know, that's the bridge over the river down there. Still, we'll avoid all the battles with the Spiracorns, and, well...
The breeze feels so good.
I think we've got about half an hour or so left to see what we can get done. So, first of all,
Thanks for the ride.
We've got some...
Thanks, buddy.
Some sea devils. I see no reason why. Ooh.
Nothing to it.
You're great knocked.
Roasted. So we could do the terror battle, but
easy now.
For whatever reason, I don't want to. I'll at least check it out. I just want to see what it says. That looks like that is a fishing point down there as well. So what on earth is Hiso Hiso? Okay, won't be able to save, and you'll be returned to the title screen. Let's say no then. I have no idea how long it will be, especially if we can't save and we can't do stuff like that. I don't see. I think that's a little risky. Hopefully it doesn't do that forever, otherwise that would be very annoying. So we've got some rainbow trout and some other
Let's fish.
some trout and salmon around here, and a shop as well.
Welcome.
Would have been easy to miss that. Any? Okay, no.
Come again.
No lures that we don't already have. It's a little disappointing. Okay, we've got a rare one as well, which is cool. In which case... Rainbow trout was what they said, right? So let's... Come on. There we go. Okay. Pretty tough. For just your basic fish. Putting up a better fight than most of the other ones that we've had. took almost 200 off my brand new line.
Yeah, scored big this time.
Okay, so we get a Nebula Salmon, and Ignis gets a new recipe alongside that.
Nice work, dude.
It may well be helping that we're sort of... Now that's the big fish. Whether it's just another Nebula Salmon, but it's a particularly large one, I don't know.
Oh, it's heavy.
I know it wasn't as special.
Neat.
Nice work, dude.
Come on, I want to try and get this one here. I wonder what fish that is then. So here, this is the maiden water, I think.
Yes. What the hell was that?
Okay, I think that's definitely the larger fish. Gonna actually have to pay attention. At this rate, I think I might lose my line.
Focus!
If you could do that a bit more, that would be lovely. If it would stop raining, that would also
Better
be
get
nice.
ready to land it.
Come on. Yes! With 0! Woo!
Check it out.
Now that is a big fish.
Massive!
Okay. With 0 durability left. I'm really happy with that. Oh, that was well worth it. Okay, cool. So, what we now need to do... I don't think there's any reason for us to stay too much longer here. What we will do... Actually, no, we don't have any magic flasks, I think, so I don't think there's much use in us. Well, we can top up, but I think we are, at this point, over the hill in terms of magic flasks. Do-do-do-do-do-do. So what we'll do is we'll fast travel back to Old Lastolum and jump in the car. Just need to be absolutely sure that we don't have any flasks, but yeah, we don't. So what we're going to do is, as I say, go to the map, return to the car, which is back in Old Lastolum. Then from Old Lastolum, we're going to drive, start the drive. we won't need to stop off at Malmalam Thicket, because obviously we've already done that, but we will be able to stop off at the Verity Seaside. The only reason to really stop there is because there's a haven there, which we can do a tour. And then from there, we'll head over to Cape Kayam. And sort of tie everything up there.
We can't put Iris in danger. Let's wait till it's light out.
We will.
And away we go.
So indeed here, if we were driving, this would be a chance that, for example, I could buy some stuff or whatever.
Her prowess, you should be glad you didn't.
Yeah, the Loki guy was nothing compared to her.
Though we may not have fared so well without the Marshal.
Think things would have gone differently if he were here now?
Well, she offered to play again. Maybe we'll get the chance to find out.
So obviously there they're talking about Aranea. And Gladio still obviously not happy about maybe being a bit shown up. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here as to whether we'll actually get the chance to whether they'll actually offer for us to stop off in Malmalam, or because we've already done it, whether it won't.
Is this place begging to be explored?
Never been one to turn down an invitation.
If what they say about the Malmalam Thicket is true,
then we might just find what we're looking for here.
So, I mean, we've already done that, so never mind. You feel like if they've bothered to, if they've recognised that some people will do it first, and so they've got the same bit of dialogue at the start of the dungeon, you feel like they could have removed it from there.
Are you guys excited to visit Altisha or what?
I guess.
I'm so jealous.
We're not going on vacation.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
Iris?
Something wrong?
What? No, I'm fine. I'm not jealous. I just had a lot of fun hanging out with you guys. But that'll all be in the past once we hit Kayam.
What are you talking about?
We can hang out anytime, right?
Yeah.
Let's pull over for a sec.
How come?
I gotta give the driver a break every now and then.
If you say so.
Wonder why no one ever thought of that before.
Because no one ever had little sister along for the ride.
So we have the Larity Seaside. And again, as I've said before, there's not really that much here for us. Besides, there are some. Eventually, there are some quests down here.
Sounds like Lady Lunafreya is staying in Altisha.
Is it safe for her there? I mean, Accordo is Imperial territory.
Heard about the Imperial base? Yeah, some Lucians went in and raised hell. They raised hell, all right. Put the base commander in the hospital.
So, on the one hand, I'd be happy to explore. On the other, I have no idea how I get back up, if I do. seems like a very weird stopping point in that regard. But, what's the worst that can happen? There's got to be a way back, surely. Oh, we can't jump over there. That's disappointing.
Smells like there's salt in the air.
Zebra.
It's a very rogue place.
We're on the water.
Wow, it's beautiful.
Picture perfect.
Maybe you can't go down there. Maybe there's no way down. Interesting. Never mind then. Forget what I said. I thought that we would. I thought that there would be a way to explore down there, but as it looks, I think it's just a beautiful view, some small chit-chat. But otherwise, nothing much else. That seems like a very pointless parking spot there, because it's just like, oh, you know, just park. You can't do anything. It's just a view. But for it to be an official parking spot seems a little weird. But still, I'll stop having my gripes, and we'll be able to move forwards.
Get a load of this beautiful view. Yeah. Like something out of a dream.
Just don't fall asleep on me.
So, there's the lighthouse at Kayem.
Wow, look at that bridge up ahead.
Some piece of work right there.
The rivers run wide out here, so the bridges run long.
Guess I'll see it when we cross. Want to get a closer look?
At what?
So there is a place to stop. We don't really get another good excuse to stop here, unless there are some hunts down here, which I do not know. There may well be, but there may well also not be. But we're down by the seaside. And once we take care of some sea devils, which should not...
Always got each other's backs, right? You know it.
I didn't quite mean to do that, but there we go. Work to treat. I forgot that there were 3 stops. I thought there were only 2, but there are 3 stops. And the third is at Spellcray Haven, which is just down here, right on the beachfront. We get ourselves some Clane mollusks. There's another fishing spot. And we've got a haven. Spellcray Haven. Just up here. So even though it is, we can imagine that they spend a nice little time as a group just chilling on the beach. One final day all together with Iris. Plain dark shell as well, so we might as well grab some of those.
That's it.
What's up, Iggy?
I've come up with a new recipe.
Can't wait to try it.
I wonder how far along the sort of what look like almost like lava fields. I wonder how far along we can go. That looks like the end of the road there. Still, some, what I am assuming are relatively rare ingredients there. And Noctis can do some fishing, and then we will we'll spend the night at the Haven before moving on to Cayenne in just a spell. Some spider silk. So, I mean, we definitely need to recast our line here. So, not sure what we'll find here, but I guess like sea bass would sort of make sense, maybe. Ulster bass. Ooh, lots and lots of options. Come on, you were interested. Be more assertive.
Here we go.
Oh, we got a big one.
Am I going to regret only going spider silk and not going super baleen? It's a big one, but it's not doing too much damage to my line, which is nice.
It's heavy.
Ease off on the reeling.
There we go. Took a decent chunk out of my line, though.
Yeah, scored big this time.
Ah, copper allural sea bass. Lovely.
Nice work, dude. Yes.
Goodness.
You almost got him. Don't let up.
like whenever I pay too much attention to the top bar, I won't be following the movements of the fish. There we go, lovely.
Whoa, check it out.
That is a tide grouper. Lovely. Okay.
Neat.
So a couple
Nice
of
work, dude.
big catches there. Tell you what, if I'd get the AP for the for big catches at the moment, I'd earn a fair amount of AP from this spot. Good to know. I went a bit greedy there with the line. Lovely. I think we'll try and catch one more, and then we'll.
You've improved.
It's a dark allural sea bass. There was one big blue one that, a flashing blue one that we could have caught, but clearly was only available during the day as opposed to during dusk. I think these are both the groupers. Come on, fish. Beautiful scene out
What the hell was that?
going out to sea. The sunset over the shoals. Gotta pay attention to this one.
Toward the fish.
Come on, Nick. Talking to a pro.
Ah, the line's gonna snap.
Come on, Prompto. Don't need that sort of negativity.
Oh, it's heavy.
Lovely. A nice big copper allural sea bass. I think that's a good spot to end.
Wow.
Look at the size of that thing.
And what's the best thing to do after fishing up a storm?
Camping. Again.
Well, you got a problem with camping?
Why not? Just have a nice rest, a nice camp. feel like almost the high end food is kind of wasted on this one because we're not going to really be doing anything. Let's do that one. Noctis and Iris. So bonding over. Sorry, Prompto and Iris bonding over their chocobo, or a chocobo. So there we have it, level 42. Noctis's fissions. It's up to level 8. There's our battle with the Bandersnatch.
I swear half your photos are selfies. Hashtag sorry not sorry.
What a... There we go. That's the sort of photo I wanted of Iris and her chocobo. What else do we have? Guys in the car. Noctis doing some fishing. A very scenic one there. So, if I remember correctly, we should get a tour now, and then... Oh no, okay. Maybe because we have Iris, we don't get the tour. I don't know.
Let's go.
Or maybe I'm just wrong in terms of whether this is a tour haven. It might well be the case that Iris affect, having Iris in the party does affect things like that. Even still. We'll make our way back to the car. After being so worried about the car for so long, I like the idea that they just leave it there just so like the Imperials could have just walked onto it and just been like, ah yes, we'll just take their car.
So, you're the one doing all the cooking.
More or less.
Gladdy, don't you help? Knocked?
On occasion.
What occasion?
I do my part. I always set the table.
That's some arrangement you guys have here.
This the place?
Sure is. Thanks for the lift, Ignis.
My pleasure.
Can't wait to see my buddy Talcott.
Do you feel like, as much as having your own music, like being able to choose the music helps, that was definitely not the sort of suitable music for this, for that arrival into Cape Cayam. So, we'll have plenty of time to explore around here at other points.
Hello there.
What we do have...
Thank you.
So, luxury cat food and the iron shelf recipes 4. So, the luxury cat food we can obviously buy, but there is another way that we'll be able to...
What?
I've come up with a new recipe.
I could taste test for you.
For what it's worth, that should give you an idea that there's going to be another cat mission, and there is.
Whoa, pretty impressive lighthouse.
What say we head on up?
Ought to be a nice view, if a bit blustery.
So yeah, so there is another mission with the cat, the same cat as from Kitty Catering, all the way back in Golden, and you can either buy the luxury cat food there, or you can cook it yourself by doing some fishing.
What's up?
Knew it was y'all. Recognize the purr of that engine anywhere.
Whew, you know your stuff.
Okay, so that means we have to eventually...
Thanks for the ride. It was fun.
How's the boat?
Pawpaw's tinkering away. Reckon he'll be tinkering for some time.
Trouble at sea.
Seen her share by the looks of her. Some parts we can fix, others need replacing.
An overhaul.
So as we make our slow way up to the lighthouse... You're walking slowly for a
Don't
reason.
y'all worry. Pawpaw ain't going nowhere till the job's done. Parts won't fetch themselves, though. Was kinda hoping y'all wouldn't mind helping out with that.
We're at your disposal.
So, we've got the house over this side. And then we've got the lighthouse straight ahead. And there's little bits that we can talk about in both.
To tell the truth, we already got a couple hands on deck. Dustin and Monica. Those two have been real swell. Managed to gather just about everything we need.
You can depend on the Crown's Guard.
Trouble is, they ain't had much luck finding a certain something by the name of Mithril. Apparently the stuff's hard to come by around these parts. At least according to the little fella from the city.
Talcott?
You betcha. Sharp as a tack, that one. Could tell y'all more about the stuff than I could.
I'll be sure to ask.
Pawpaw's down on the dock. Now, if y'all'll excuse me, I'm gonna grab my tools and ski-daddle. Got a garage to look after.
Prince Noctis! Hey! Our house is over here! Right this way!
So, we have the chance to talk to Talcott over here.
We've decided to start living here. Pretty recently, too, which is why it's so empty.
I think Miss Cindy might have told you already, but she needs a very special kind of ore called mithril to fix the boat. Remember the waterfall? I read in Grandpa's notebook. There's some ruins near a lake just north of there. It said you'll find mithril inside.
So, there we go.
My grandpa's never wrong. There's gotta be mithril in there. I just know it. Grandpa wrote a whole lot of things about a whole lot of places in his notebook. My grandpa's never wrong. There's gotta be mithril in there. I just know it.
Okay, then speaking.
About that lake. Pretty sure he was talking about the Vesper Pool. I asked Monica to look into it, and she told me the road leading there is under Imperial lockdown. You'll want to be prepared for anything. So, how's that coming along?
So, I think, given that what's going to happen is that's going to ask us to start, to put at the start of Chapter 7, methinks. So, what I can do is... The answer is yes.
Just give us a second.
Okay. I'll be inside then.
So, that's the end of Chapter 6. A nice little one-episode chapter there.
So, yeah. Gonna have to ask you to handle this boat business without me.
Say what?
Got some business of my own to deal with.
Sounds like he wants to fly solo for a bit.
Gonna be long?
Not long enough for you to miss me.
So once more, we choose the choice that gives us AP. So Gladio leaves the party, and that should be the hint that episode Gladiolus occurs in the time when he's away from the party. So the chapter is over. plenty of pictures of Iris when she's in the party, which is quite nice. Pity none of them are particularly good photos. But there we go. So, that's going to be it for this episode. I hope you have enjoyed it. I hope you'll join me on the next, where we will start making our way through the next chapter, chapter 7, which looks at us looking to look up and find some mithril. I'll see you on the next one.